Do you want to know why so many AI systems fail? It's because AI can't make people care. Human beings do. And today we want to take a look at that. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 39 books and counting. Over the last 40 years as a marketing expert, I have helped people write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything else you can imagine, in your messaging space, in you being clear to help you understand and truly use the three C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. Because no matter what you do with AI, and I even was at an event, not that long ago, that was with a bunch of, some of the top, if you will, gurus in the AI industry. And every single last one of them is going to tell you, that at the end of the day, you can only go about 80% of the way with AI. You always are going to want to have that human touch, that human interaction, to make sure that it sounds like a human being, to make sure that it sounds like you, to make sure that it still connects to people. Because no matter how far we go with AI, and I've seen and done some really cool things with it, and I love it, I really do. But at the end of the day, we still need that human touch. We still are going to buy from people that we know, like, and trust. And when it comes to algorithms, like for example, the Amazon algorithm, at the end of the day, it still is based in human people. I'll share with you one of the really basic concepts. It's one of the base processes of our system, and that is reviews. Okay, now anybody, anything really, can come to Amazon and leave a review. There are a lot of checks and balances in place. Some of them are good, some of them are crazy. Technically speaking, if you read the fine print of Amazon's terms of service, or their corporate policy, I guess you would call it, on reviews, their real belief, if you will, their real goal, ambitious, overly big, fat, hairy, audacious, concept for reviews would be that a complete total stranger that you've never met before, that you know nothing about, without any encouragement from you, no marketing on your standpoint, you understand how far out I'm going, right? Would find your book, buy your book from Amazon, read the entirety of it, and then come back. And depending on how long the book is, they're thinking usually somewhere between a week and a month for the time, to know that the person legit read the book. Okay. And I'm just talking about some of the systems that are in place. And then that person reads the review. That's the review that really is what they would deem, quote unquote, legitimately a review of your book. Okay. Now, the truth of the matter is that, and I'm talking about this from a marketing standpoint, from in the marketing world, we need to have the exposure, the knowledge, the people knowing it. Okay. And so the algorithm doesn't completely cut that out, but there are checks in place. So, like, for example, if your spouse, your significant other, your mom, whomever you might happen to live with, leaves a review on your book, it may or may not get posted because that's coming from the same IP address typically. I'm talking about people that live in your house. The same is true because anybody can come in, anything can come in and put a review in there. And that's where a lot of the problems come into, is because there's lots of bots that are just throwing out reviews. They're having AI write AI kind of things, and then AI posting AI reviews on a book that, and there's a lot of those kind of things in place. And I know a lot of the traditional publishers especially are relying on some of those kind of systems because there's a lot of huge AI companies that are talking to them about those kind of things. But at the end of the day, Amazon may or may not list those, and they give different weight to people who come in, people or systems that come in and leave a review on a book that they did not buy through Amazon. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't go to Barnes and Noble or one of a million other places and get the book. Doesn't mean that you didn't buy the book at a garage sale. Okay. And so that's not saying that they won't post your review. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. There's some checks and balances in place there, but they give it a different weight. Okay. They have what they call verified purchaser reviews. That's somebody who their email address. So you log into Amazon when you buy something from Amazon, you've got your login, blah, 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 right? And they know that. And then you buy that particular book. Okay. And then now, if you went in and you bought that particular book and 30 minutes later you wrote this glowing review, the algorithm's going to see that a little cuckoo. Okay. You need to actually have had time to have read the book. And depending on how big the book, if a book is a 50-page book, that could be an hour or two later. Amazon short reads actually, categorize books from everywhere from 25 pages up to, I want to say it's 120 pages. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere in the hundreds, and they're, everywhere from 15-minute reads to 2-hour reads. So, they have a general idea of, if you got the book and just sat down and read it all right now. So there is that. Okay. But, the space in there that a person legitimately read it. Okay. So we're talking about somebody whose genuine Amazon account went in and genuinely bought the book, meaning Amazon got money. Okay. Let's just be real. And then they took a legit, again, Amazon's critique for what's a legit amount of time to read the book. And then they, and then they came back and they, again, still logged in that same account or logging back into that account, left a review. Okay. And then there's additional other things that have to do with, what was the validity of the review? I mean, somebody came in and gave you a review and it says, "This is an awesome book, dude." Okay. And Amazon will post it. They may even count it as a verified purchaser review. But it's not going to have the same weight. Not in Amazon's algorithm, but more importantly, again, going back to that human touch. So you come in and you see a book. Now let's be brutally real. Okay. You can get 50, 100, 200. And if you have the right kind of following, depending on how large your follower base is, you could have several hundred reviews and have them all be 5-star reviews. The truth of the matter is the more that you get reviews, the more that other people are going to get it and they're going to review it. And there's always going to be that person. And it hurts every single time we have somebody that gives us a bad review. Okay. It just is what it is. All right. Yeah, and there's a ton of feels that can come with that. But, when we see a book and we see it has 100 reviews and all of them are 5 stars, we question that a little bit too. How legit is that? How much is that? Some kind of bot kind of thing. You see, all of these are human touches. And this is just one example of an algorithm. So, there's some intricacies. Amazon, wants you to get to a certain level of verified purchaser reviews before it opens up a whole new section of, and then, and those are in, in kind of stair step intervals. Okay. And really what they want is they want your book to be being purchased consistently. They're like, "Oh, hey, people are interested in this book regularly." And I'm talking about people purchasing it. I'm not talking about some kind of bot shills or things like that. I'm talking about actual Amazon accounts getting the book. Okay. And that people are on the regular making reviews for the book. Those are the kind of things, and then, that the book is getting good reviews and not getting all 1-star reviews, and that the reviews, don't all have M dashes and things like that show. And I'm not dissing, those of us like myself that use, and different AI programs to help us write our things and make us sound like, legit humans, make us sound like we have some intelligence. All of those things, are weighed in there, and they totally get that. But at the end of the day, that human touch, like you said, the experts are all saying that 20% of humanity, that human touch is going to beat everything that all the bots and everything and all the systems can come in and do for the algorithm. And we've got all of that in place. Real reviews, real people, real feedback, real purchases, real you existing. And you need to have that. And this is the time to do it. It's November. It's the beginning part of November. We're going to be coming into Black Friday at the end of this month, and people are spending money. They're already doing it, and they're going to be increasing and increasing and increasing throughout the course of the next 2 months. It's just going to happen. Okay. And you need to be poised. You need positioning right now for you to show up in the algorithm. When somebody's searching for, a book on blah, 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 you need to be the one that they see. Absolutely. And we've got that process for you. And I'd love to help you with that. If you DM Amplify or put in the comments Amplify, let me help you be visible and valuable, to be seen so that you can get paid. Okay. And yeah, your book's the lost leader, but it's going to lead them to your courses, your programs, your teaching, all of those kind of things. And we want to show you how to be able to do that because you need it, because it's imperatively, impactfully for you to be visible and valuable. And I want to be a part of helping you do that. And we absolutely can do that. The program's guaranteed. We want to be the ones to help you show up. Not some algorithm, not some AI bot, but real human beings coming together, working with you. Because algorithms fail, but I cannot talk. Authenticity wins. Let me say that again. Algorithms fail, but authenticity always wins. And true, genuine authenticity, it never fades. Not really. So let us help you with that. I'd love to speak with you in more detail about that. Do DM or comment the word amplify, and let's get you seen and heard and on the road to truly getting paid. Are you ready for that? I'm excited about it too. I hope that you are happy, safe, warm, and loved. And then until we're together again next time, which is tomorrow, when we're going to already start talking about prepping for Black Friday. We need to do all of the groundwork now so that both with our own personal Black Friday celebration that we're going to do that we want you to be a part of. You can also amplify. You can also DM Amplify if you want to be part of that great promotion. And we need to start working on that right now. Okay. So come back and join me tomorrow and we'll talk about that in more detail. And until we're together again next time, I do hope you have an amazingly great week.